Can you guys believe they let me in the garage? That's it. That's my intro. Hey, I'm Amanda. I'm professionally curious and I talk for a living, and you're watching Swell Entertainment, the channel where I share with you whatever I'm obsessed with that week every Tuesday. And this week, we are talking about my time with the Mahindra team for the Formula E Mexico City E-Prix in Mexico. I have so much to share with you. I'm so excited. When I told William I was going to film this, I was like, just, I'm probably going to be like really giddy. He was like, yeah, that's car related. So I assumed so. And I just started sending him photos of me with the trophy. So I got an email from Mahindra back in December asking if I would like to come and work with them for the Mexico City E-Prix and be their guest. I had to stop myself from waking my manager Colleen up at 6 a.m. and just like screaming into the phone out of excitement. For the sake of disclosure, Mahindra covered both me and Colleen's flight, hotel, food for a couple of days, and also our passes for the Emotion Club for race day on Saturday. In exchange for this video, probably gonna have to title this video something like The Truth About Mahindra Racing and Formula E, or We Need to Talk About Mahindra Racing and Formula E, because you guys, my viewers, you guys love when I, want to expose something. The exposing bit is that everyone's really lovely and I had an amazing time. As you all know, I have what I lovingly refer to as motorsport brain rot, which is why I started a whole second channel, Girly Pop Go, for all my car and motorsport content. Because I need to give myself more work when I have a passion. But of the series that I follow, Formula E is the series that I know probably the least about and I'm the least familiar with. So this was kind of perfect because I was able to go in and I had so many questions and the Mahindra team was amazing at answering all of them. And if someone didn't know the answer to a question, they sent me to someone else to answer it. It was great. Colleen, my manager, came with me. This is the first time we've ever traveled together and also the first time that she has been to a race. She doesn't watch any motorsport. She has never been to a race. So she just had a lot of questions herself. So I got to answer a lot of questions as well. How much have you learned so far?
I've learned so much. We've been here like 45 minutes and I already am so excited.
So really this was a perfect motorsport yapper's dream. Credentials. Mahindra submitted us for the credentials and then we'd fill out everything on our own. Pretty straightforward. It's just like your information, provide a photo. That was really easy to fill out. There was actually like a whole quiz section because they sent over like the safety requirements. They make sure that you read everything, which I do appreciate, frankly. I aced it. By the next morning, before we even went to the track, we got our credentials approved and Chloe of Mahindra picked them up for us and met us at the gate. And this was a day where it was just a media day. It's free practice 1. You can watch that online. This was the day that I had my scheduled filming time and like conversation time with a couple of the team and the drivers. But I got to talk with their drivers, Nyck de Vries and Edoardo Mortara. And I got time with their technical director, Josef Holden, and their team principal, Fred Bertrand. And I will admit this day, my anxiety was really high. And it's not because I was like nervous with meeting the team or the drivers or anything like that, because I can have a conversation with a rock, frankly. One, I have high expectations for like myself. And, this was the first time I was doing something like this. As soon as the camera starts rolling, I'm locked in, I'm good to go. This happens with me several times where like the lead up is where I'm freaking out. And then as soon as the record button's pressed, I'm good. But it was also the fact of my anxiety. I hate feeling like I'm in the way. I hate feeling like I'm wasting people's time. And I am always, as I've spoken about in other videos, very hyper aware of the fact that I am in people's, this is their job. This is like, I'm working too. This is also my job this weekend, but also not in the same way. You get my point? And there's just so many different moving parts in a team and in a race weekend that I'm like, I am making everyone's life harder. Everyone was really great. And every time I like vocalize this, everyone was like, you're fine. I'm like, we invited you. Each driver, we had like 15 minutes each, kept it at like a tight 8 if possible. Only time that I think we went over like 7 or 8 minutes was when I was talking with Fred. And that's because one, Fred is a great interview. Explain for maybe any new fans what that might mean for in terms of Formula E and what your job entails.
To be a team principal, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, so some people think it's just holiday and waiting to the others to work, but
you don't just get to travel the world.
That's the most boring part,
Do you think me and Fred could have talked way longer? It was great. For the E-Prix itself, something I do think is interesting is that the VIP area as well as like the team area is pretty exposed to like where the fan zones are. This is some common in some different series I've been to and some other races I've been to, but nothing like this, I would say. This whole area that you will see in some of these clips, like this would fill up with fans pretty much the entire weekend. Then the garage entrances are just on the other side of this. So every time team personnel was out, drivers were out, it would be like really loud and excited because the fans were so excited. My only other experience with Formula E attending an actual E-Prix is the Portland E-Prix in 2024. And that one was pretty sparsely attended, frankly. And I think that this was a really good comparison as well, because I do believe that in a lot of series, a lot of sports that I've been to, not even just talking about motorsports specifically, certain boxing series and things like that I've covered, the amount of geographical fandom that plays into some of these series is huge. Portland, I think when I went, there was like maybe 10,000 people there that day. I don't know what the final count was, but some of this footage you will see, it's packed. They filled up that stadium, okay? The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, got it, okay? And Formula E does everything they can to put everything in one day. So like free practice 1, like I said, was on that Friday, but free practice 2, qualifying, and the race all take place on Saturday.
So I could explain Formula E to you, but I feel like it's better for the drivers and Josef to do it.
Do you want me to explain what we do here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm Nyck. I am from the Netherlands, 30 years old. I'd like to think I look a little bit younger, but you know, age is also counting for me.
Hello everyone, I'm Edoardo Mortara, racing driver for the Mahindra Racing team. We are competing in the FIA Formula E Championship, the only championship that is using electrical vehicles. It's the 12th season of the championship.
I mean, if you compare to some of the other series that are out there, they've been around for multiple decades. It's an electric single-seater championship.
Basically, we are going to have some free practice and some qualifying where we are going to try to push our car to its limit without trying to manage pretty much anything. In the races, we have to manage our energy.
I think we have a good package. We're quick, but again, it's not, I would say, a racing series where that is always translating to a good result at the end of the weekend, and that's what makes it exciting, but also stressful for us, because you think you did a part of the weekend, but actually it hasn't really meant much yet.
From an engineering point of view, we want to automate everything. You want to make it so that the car can go as fast as humanly possible, but then you have to realise there is an actual human sat in the race seat. So it's how we blend together that person and machine to be able to say, okay, you've got to make a quick car, but don't make it so it takes away some of the feedback, the feel for the driver, because they are the ones that have to drive it. I think that's really different with Formula E, because Formula E is so frenetic, fast, quick. We have pit boosts, so we're doing pit stops that aren't about tyres, they're about energy, and everything we do is based on efficiency. The driver actually has to really understand all of the electrical systems on the car and be part of that development chain, more so than I've seen in some other forms of motorsport.
I would say at the end of the year, the champion is definitely the deserved champion, but there are moments in the season where that you have a little bit of I would say chaos and randomness.
Obviously, this is my first time like being a guest of a team and spending most of my time of a race weekend in a team's garage. And so I will say that I was very aware of like the FIA's presence, even if they weren't like a physical person in front of me the entire time. Even the engineering bay, which we were not allowed to film in, obviously. Even the Mahindra team members that were like guiding us around, like Alessia and Chloe, like, oh yeah, we can't go in here because we could be secret engineers. Or when we were putting our stuff in their team box, like where they have snacks and their gear and backpacks and things like that, so it's out of the way. Actually can't work on our laptops in here. We have to go work on them out there so that we're not like hiding what's on the laptops and things like that. And so I don't know if this is common in all other FIA series. FIA is the governing body of Formula E and a lot of other motorsports, international motorsports series. It was just interesting because I'm used to seeing like, oh yeah, this camera, like it's always being broadcasted. They always have cameras on the garage, things like that for the FIA. But it was like the little things that like affect how the team operates, even from the ones that aren't touching the cars. I thought that was interesting because that's just something that I haven't really seen as like a fan experience, if that makes sense. Obviously, you're watching this on Swell Entertainment, so I'm not going to be able to show you every little thing that we filmed with the team and with the drivers, but all the extra footage, all of the extended interviews, all of the tours and things like that are going to be over on Girly Pop Go. That'll be linked down below if you'd like to go check it out, just because I feel like it fits there more versus we are still doing the overall reviewing my time with the team and showing off Formula E and Mexico City E-Prix so that you hopefully become a fan of Mahindra. Because in the words of Fred, them fans of Mahindra in the process.
Yeah, but this is obvious, no?
Yes, of course, of course. Why wouldn't you pick Mahindra? Nyck's side, Edo's side, they showed us where we would be. The team had brand new radios for the viewing area. So these things were really tight on the head, but they were constantly checking in to make sure that they were working. So funny. The screens that you see, you'll see these in the other sessions as well. These are all footage that is given to the team by the FIA. So like the 2 center screens were the broadcast screens, and then the ones on the end were the onboards for Nyck and Edo's car. And that is also footage that is controlled by the FIA that is beamed to the garage. Mahindra also said that I can basically film literally anything aside from before the cars go out, not filming the back of the cars, not filming when the car was naked, as I call it, as in the top is off and things like that, even though these cars are pretty consistent across all teams aside from back and things like that. And then not showing super detailed information that's on screen in high quality. So you might see some wonky blurs in here. That is because I don't want to get in trouble. Also, side note, you're going to notice a lot of screens here. I don't think I ever talked with Buck on camera, but I really want to highlight Buck a little bit just because you'll see Buck in some footage. He's the one with the purple mohawk. Buck is the IT person for Mahindra. He has one other person that works on his team, and they are the only IT people for Mahindra Racing in its entirety. Buck was the only person here. Notice all the screens. Just seems like so much that Buck is on top of and has to be in charge of for the screens. Like the entire engineer, obviously I didn't film in the engineering bay, but all of the engineering bay where they're doing like their strategy and engineering and doing the race, that's a bunch of screens. Like this seems insane to me that it's just Buck. But in its entirety, the entirety of Mahindra that was traveling with the team for this race weekend, including Nyck and Edo, was 33 people.
We're a really tiny team. Yeah. Like how many people do you guys have at this traveling? Traveling, 33. Yeah, but you know that. I just counted them. Oh, wow. Wow.
That's it. They were like, yeah, we can all fit on one plane with another team. That's crazy to me. That seems like such a small conglomeration. Obviously, Fred's like organizing so many people and hiring so many people. Technical elements of all of this. It's just like, I always joke that this is like the group project, like an insane group project for every racing series. And that's one of the reasons I like motorsports, is seeing how much comes together for a race weekend with all the different teams, the FIA, all like the race itself, like the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, like putting everything together and all the different fan elements. And then also on top of it, you also then have the group element of a team and organizing the drivers and organizing the cars and all the different engineers. Cool to see how it all comes together. And I was just really excited that Mahindra like let me into this weekend. It was really fun.
My job is effectively, some would say it's to design and build our race cars, but realistically it's to challenge the bunch of people who actually have the ideas to bring forward to bring performance to a car, and that's from concept stage through to actually delivering it on track, but then also how you continually advance your performance when you're at the racetrack. So it spans all manner of different systems. It's mechanical design, it's electrical design, control systems, simulation, and you bring that myriad of people together to eventually be able to deliver one of these.
Also, we're able to do their team photo here. That was really fun to be able to see them pulling it together and seeing Lou, their photographer, pulling everything together and being like, no, I need you to move here so that Edo fits into this spot. Like, as I'm recording this, it is actually Monday, so it is currently Edo's birthday, so they did an early birthday celebration to surprise Edo, and it was very funny to see Nyck and Edo's faces once the photo was done, and they were like, okay, now just wait here. And they were like, what do you mean we have to wait? Later, they were like, oh yeah, the worst thing you can tell a racing driver, like just sit tight for a second. Just wait. We won't tell you what for. Just wait. Did the interviews with Nyck and Edo, try to keep that tight. Also, side note, I will be bringing a footstool next time I go and do interviews with anyone, I think. Sometimes you guys don't believe me that I'm 5'2". You're gonna believe me after this footage. My goodness. I think they like lulled me into a false sense of security by starting me off with doing my interview with Nyck, because Nyck is taller than me, but not by a whole lot. So it was just like, yeah, like normal conversation. Then they brought out Edo. And then Josef, also super tall. And then we ended with Fred. And Fred is pretty equivalent to my height, I would say. I thought I was being so responsible by wearing sneakers and not my heeled boots. Alas, next time I'm bringing a step stool, I'll decorate it with car stickers. This will be a funny bit. It'll be fine. Back to Buck. It was actually funny. At one point, some of the volunteers were asking if there was any driver cards, so Alessi had to go find those. And so they were like, okay, to stay here with Buck. And so Buck was like chaperoning us next to the car. And so Buck just goes, that's a car. Buck had made a comment like, yeah, you got to learn by doing. I believe they can't like do simulations and things like that. And I was like, I agree, which is why I should be allowed to drive the car. And he was like, that is not my call. I'm like, that's fair. But we talked about the simulator a lot, and I was like explaining stuff to Colleen as best as I could. I believe I was talking with Chloe about the Evo sessions. The Evo sessions, you may have seen, this is where they got a bunch of YouTubers and celebrities to come to actually race in Formula E cars and drive. Mr. Beast crashed his. I admit that did me psychic damage when I saw that, frankly. But alas, we were talking about some of the training that they had to do with the Evo sessions, also the women's test that they've done. They just had Chloe Chambers do their rookie test. You may have heard me talk about Chloe in some of the F1 Academy content that I've made previously. That's where I learned that there is no power steering in Formula E cars. That seems insane to me. Okay, power steering is also not in Formula 2, but it is in Formula 1. That means that every time you see a driver in Formula E turning the wheel, they are turning the entire strength of the car. That's insane to me. We did ask around to see why there's no power steering in Formula E. We couldn't really get an answer. So if anyone does know why Formula E doesn't have any power steering, other than to stress me out further now whenever I watch a race, please let me know. Then it was time for free practice 1. They're just trying different setup. After free practice 1, we did a little bit of labs. They also showed us where the guys were doing media at one point. At the Mexico City E-Prix as well. The media pen is super exposed. I'm so used to other series where it's like kind of hidden away. And I was geeking about being at the stadium, which Colleen thought was really funny because I was like, I've watched this on television and now I'm here. We're in Mexico City. My first time in Mexico, which is also super sick. And this is the stadium. This is practice day. It's practice 1. Not a ton of people here. But tomorrow, this is going to be totally packed with fans. What a loser. I'm kidding. Watch this on broadcast. I've seen cars race here. This is so cool. I don't know. It's just really fun when you're a fan of something and you've like seen it on television so many times. And then you get to like actually go and experience it in person. It really is super cool. And again, thank you to Mahindra for giving me this opportunity. Mexico City, I will say, if you are ever thinking of going to a Mexico City E-Prix, Grand Prix, etc., the traffic is there. It's not an exaggeration. The traffic is no joke. Add 20 minutes to whatever estimated time Uber, GPS, whatever it tells you, add 20 minutes minimum. We also did have, like I said, the Emotion Club tickets for this day. Look at the little pin that was on here. It's the Mahindra pin because we were guests of Mahindra. It's so cute. But the Emotion Club didn't open till 9. For practice 2, we just kind of still walked around the fan zone. They had a whole K1 speed setup, which I was like, if we have time, I would love to do this. Never ended up getting time, but they had like a whole fan village, big stage set up in front of the stadium, which is so crazy. Like the way that you see, I'm so curious what the view was from the stadium itself to look at the actual stage, because these screens were huge. So I do think it was probably a decent view. I will say I did like the amount of screens that I saw at the Mexico City E-Prix. As someone that often talks about the, attendee experience, I did like the amount of screens that I saw. Checked in the Emotion Club. If anything, I would equate the Emotion Club to my experience that I have with the Champions Club for Suzuka Circuit when I went to the Japanese Grand Prix for Formula 1 in 2024. Very similar setup in that it's the floor above everything else. And so from the balcony of the Emotion Club, you can look into the VIP area and the pit lane, which is really sick. One of my preferred viewing experiences if I were to pay for hospitality. I like a good view. They had food, they had coffee, they had talks going. Sam Bird talked at one point. They had pit lane walks and things like that. They had about 2.
Yeah, this is the everything.
With the Mahindra logo right behind you. There we go. Trying snacks.
Trying.
The miscellaneous snacks.
Trying new snacks from all the different countries we go to.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Can we pour it?
Yeah, let's do it. Perfect. Let's do it. Oh, it's almost like a Skittle.
Like a Skittle. I thought it was going to be spicy.
Yeah, it's sweet.
Not bad.
Very good. And then it was time for qualifying. Okay. Now, one thing that I really wanted to do with this video was actually detail a little bit about the Formula E qualifying sessions, just because I feel like if you watch, say, Driver Formula E or any other race series type of docu-series, okay, they don't really focus on qualifying. Heck, if you watch the F1 movie, they don't even focus on qualifying whatsoever. And I think it's because they think it's confusing, but I feel like that further adds to confusion once people try and start watching it, and it feels like a little too daunting, and a lot of people don't like asking questions. So let's talk about qualifying for Formula E. Grid is broken up into 2 groups, Group A and Group B. Both Edo and Nyck were in Group A. So they go out for a 10-minute session, and the fastest 4 of those groups move on to the dual stage. Edo made it through, Nyck did not. Then we go on to duels. So then someone from the top 4 of Group A goes against someone from the top 4 of Group B, and they do a shootout, trying to get the fastest time. And they do a pretty good job of showing like who's going first, if they're catching, what the gap is, all of that. Edo made it through on that one as well. Edo then competed against Taylor Barnard, and Edo did not beat Taylor. That meant Edo was starting 3rd on the grid and in the 2nd row. Nyck did qualify 20th, but there was a penalty that Pepe Marti had to serve from the Sao Paulo E-Prix, so Nyck started 19th. God, I hope I explained this well enough. 11:30, it was time for the drivers' autograph sessions, and that's where all of the drivers for the whole grid get sat at tables at the edge of the pit lane so that fans can come and meet them and get signed cards. They were like, do you want to come and film this? I was like, absolutely I do. Edo came first, Nyck came a little bit after, and they're working on the cars the entire time as well. So while the drivers are doing, you know, the fan-facing side of things before they have to race, then we also have the team working on the cars behind us because they were in Parc Fermé for a little bit and then out of Parc Fermé, and then they get to work on the cars in that time as well. And the entire time they have a scrutineer just chilling with them the entire time. I really want to emphasize like the fan excitement and the fandom in Mexico City E-Prix because this really was really cool. Now my 2nd international race that I've been to, obviously the first one with Formula E, but it really is cool to see like the differences and the cultural differences across fandom in different countries. That's really fun, something that I've really enjoyed seeing in the last couple of years and enjoying with the sport. The fans were so excited, and I really do appreciate everyone who every time I was like, can I film like their signs or whatever, they were so excited to show me. It was very sweet. I met a viewer. Hi. She was like, I can't believe you're here. I didn't think you would be here. It was very sweet. Someone gave them little axolotl keychains, both Edo and Nyck. Very fun. Lots of crafty fans in Formula E at Mexico City E-Prix, which was very fun. Also very sorry if I'm in the background of any of the photos of the drivers. I was really trying to be like super conscious of making sure I wasn't like crossing into some other like team's garage or trying to make sure I wasn't like directly behind Nyck and Edo at any given time. That being said, if you do like find a way to crop me out or like make me look like a cryptid or something, like Bigfoot in the background, very funny. Please tag me in those photos. About 1:30 is when they opened up the grid, okay? This was my very first time being on a grid. So obviously we had Edo at the front, got some content of his car, and then I walked all the way to the back of the grid to make sure I could get some content. Nyck's car as well. There's so much happening. There's so many people on the grid. There's broadcasters talking. There's sponsors talking. Idris Elba was here at one point. Like, it's just, there's so much happening all over this whole grid, and it was just really cool and fun to see. So I filmed pretty much the whole thing. That's going to have to probably be its own video on Girly Pop Go just because I just kept filming everything. They had the grid girls and guys out, and they were all dressed up super. They had really cool outfits, frankly. Cool, fun style, like very colorful. Mexico City is such a colorful city, and that was something that I really enjoyed, and also seeing that exhibited at the Mexico City E-Prix as well as the stadium itself and everything was very cool to see. So I really love that as someone that loves color, so that was very fun. At one point, I got a photo of me going like this to like Nyck's car, and Nyck happens to be in the background, and Chloe's like, I can get him to wave for you if you'd like. And I was like, please don't bother him. He's about to drive a race car. Please do not bother him. Colleen was funny because she was like, I don't think I would be able to like talk to people before I got into these cars. There's so much happening, and it's like, yeah, then you have to get in a car and drive up to 200 miles per hour in a race. Like it's crazy, but I guess that's so much of like the athlete mentality and like the driver mentality of like compartmentalizing and things like that. And it's interesting to see also a bunch of drivers have their different strategies of like who they are talking to, how they are dealing with it, how they're getting suited up. They are clearing us out because cars will be moving. Yes. And then it was time for us all non-essential personnel to get off the grid so that the race could start. It was very interesting to get into the garage and see like the calm before the storm, them setting up all of the seats for them to be able to watch the race and be ready to go in case a pit stop was needed. Lights out. Colleen was fantastic this trip. I want to make it abundantly clear because I go to a lot of things alone. And I'm sure you're like, Amanda, why didn't you go alone? I'm bad at filming myself. This is one thing. There's a reason we rely so much on sit-down footage. Everything else is B-roll, is me vlogging or filming things. But I'm very bad at asking people to get clips for me or setting up a camera to get clips of me doing stuff. And so to avoid this entirely, Colleen came to make sure that we were getting as much footage as possible to make sure this was helpful for Mahindra. And Colleen was getting a bunch of clips of me watching qualifying, watching the practice sessions, watching the race, and the amount, the stress on my face. At one point, Colleen was like, my heart is racing. I'm freaking out. I'm like, yeah, welcome.
Colleen is like, I'm nervous. I was like, yeah, that's how this works. It's nerve-wracking.
Welcome to the true racing experience. I'm having a great time. I'm so excited. I'm also freaking out. I'm so stressed. So it was the 36-lap race. There was a safety car. Unfortunately, it was because Nyck's car stopped working. stopped. Later found out that Nyck's car was like a complete red car. Like they were fully taking it to get figured out what happened to try and prevent that from happening again in the future. At the time we were recording this, I don't know if they've released what the actual issue was. Maybe they won't. I don't know. Nyck was okay, obviously. The car rolled to the stop. The car did not come back, obviously, because they had to check things out. Oh, and then we had attack mode. Okay, how do I explain attack mode? 2 times to do attack mode. Basically go wide at turn 12 to activate attack mode, and then you have 4 minutes of attack mode. I needed to rewatch this race when I got home because even with the broadcast, I feel like I wasn't always fully getting a good understanding of what was happening with the broadcasters, especially because like there would be times where I would be like, Edo was in second, Edo was leading, Edo was suddenly in third, and I had no idea what happened, and I'm literally watching it on screen. Just right after Edo got attack mode, Nyck got attack mode, and so it was like using the attack mode at the end, and so Edo finished the race in second. Fantastic finish. That's a podium. I was excited. You guys gonna win this weekend?
We've got a chance.
We want to score good points with both cars.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And if it's a win, we take it.
I hope so. Obviously, it's always very difficult, to expect anything during our race weekends. Everything is so unpredictable in Formula E. Hopefully, we can be racing at the front.
We just have to try and outthink in certain ways and rely on the way that we do things, our processes, and hopefully this weekend that should pay off, but we have to see.
Part of the excitement that you will always get something. Number of opportunities to overtake on a track like this is huge. And then we think we have 2 good drivers to make the show proper and finish on the podium, and that first step we need.
Incredible finish, podium, especially after the DNF for Sao Paulo, which did not finish. So very cool podium. And that meant that me and Colleen got to go with the Mahindra team to go to the podium celebration. And that is where they gave us our flags. I was walking with Chloe and Alessia, beelining to the podium celebration. And that's where in front of the whole stadium, we're all crowded in. We're so close to the stage. And I will admit, I'm 5'2". It was not easy to see what was going on stage, but as soon as Edo and the others were all on the podiums, it was much easier to see them, even if it was just like here up. Colleen is also much taller than me, so she had her arm up like this the entire time, which was very helpful. It was just really exciting as well to be in the garage with the team celebrating like that. Like everyone was hugging each other. It was very fun. It was just a really good time and really exciting. And I'm so grateful that I got to experience this with the team because it was just really, really cool. Great host the entire time. And then also see it kind of pay off and get the celebratory moment at the end of the weekend as well. Very fun. Champagne everywhere, confetti everywhere. Great time. Apparently, every time Nyck Cassidy wins, they play Love Story by Taylor Swift. There was also media, obviously, at the end of the race. So actually, all of the drivers were meeting in front of the Mahindra garage. So me and Colleen just kind of parked it there. And then Chloe comes out with the trophy. I was really excited about the trophy. No one makes trophy content, so I was really excited for this opportunity because I'm literally planning a trophy series for Girly Pop Go. And then at one point, Chloe was like, oh, let me go get loose, we can get photos. And they left us alone with the trophy. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's just like on the table. And so I did take a video of me guarding the trophy because I thought I was hilarious. There's just fans watching us with the trophy just right here. And they were like, okay, when you pick it up, be careful because it's sharp and you can cut, we don't want you to cut your fingers. And I was like, I could pick it up.
Just be careful you don't cut your fingers on it. It can be very sharp.
Oh, I can pick it up. Yeah. Yeah. We're like, yeah. I don't know, okay? I was really excited. I don't think we have any normal photos or videos of me with the trophy. I think I was just looking stressed and excited the entire time. As soon as we got back, like they immediately, like a bunch of the team changed into the high-vis Mahindra t-shirts so they could start breaking things down because we wanted to get out of their way, obviously. Just so fun. And we had 2 Ubers cancel on us, but that's okay. We made it to the airport. We left very early. I then changed in the airport and had a flight delay. And then I finally made it home to LA at 1 a.m. Long day. Fantastic day. I was grinning the entire time. Really such an amazing time. And the team is amazing. Mahindra is amazing. Incredible host. And it's something that I really want to emphasize as well because so much of my content here on YouTube is getting you guys to ask your own questions with all of my content. Regardless of what the topic is, whether it's a race weekend or a TikTok trend or whatever, I want you guys to ask your own questions. And something that I've been very vocal about is not niching down and acknowledging that I am a human being with a variety of interests and I like sharing that with you. And that includes obviously the motorsport brain rot of it all. But I feel like, especially when it comes to women in motorsports, especially in women content creators, there becomes this like obsession with making sure that no one can question your true fandom, making sure that you know everything and being obsessed with knowing everything and being a little bit hesitant to ask questions. And unfortunately, I feel like the gatekeeping of a lot of fandom and things like that within motorsports and in sports in general, especially when it comes to women fans, can be so such a hostile experience, especially when you feel like you're being quizzed a lot or that you don't know everything. And so it was just really great to go and experience this with the team. And there truly were no stupid questions. People within the team don't know everything. And so there were multiple times where we asked questions, they were like, I have no idea and I don't want to give you a wrong answer. So like, let's find someone that has an answer. And that was just really cool to once again see like my whole philosophy like exhibited as well with the Mahindra team itself. So that was just really great. And I really appreciate it. And it was just a really fun weekend. And I'm so glad that I got this experience. So thank you so much for giving me this experience. And also please ask questions. Oh my God. If there's nothing else that you take from my content, please don't be afraid to ask questions. If someone gives you a hard time for asking questions, you're asking the question to the wrong person. And that does not mean that you're having a stupid question. It just means that you're talking to the wrong person. There's always an ability to learn more in anything, even something that you're passionate about and that you love. And I'm just rambling now. Thank you so much to the Mahindra team for having me and Colleen. Thank you so much for giving me this incredible experience as a race fan as well. And, you know, I hope you guys liked having me. Everyone kept saying thank you for the extra content. There will be more. So give us this hat also, which I don't think I can wear in LA because of the current political climate of the United States. But it's really beautiful. It's got both Nyck and Edo's signature and then their like numbers and stuff on the side, which is very fun. So thank you guys so much. Now that I'm done being super excited and giddy, let me do my normal roundup. Have you ever been to a Formula E race? Have you ever been to Mexico City E-Prix? Have you ever been to Mexico City in general? Were you shocked that I was in Mexico? Is there any content that I didn't get this weekend that you would like to see from future potential race weekends if I'm ever a guest of a team again? Are you a fan of Mahindra now because they gave me such an amazing race weekend and they did so good and Edo got a podium? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. Reminder, the Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder, check out Girly Pop Go if you'd like to see more car and motorsport content. So much from this weekend will be there. Shout out to my channel members. If you'd also like to join me on channel memberships, you can go and click join down below. If you'd like to follow me on all social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to be a have a lovely day. Goodbye. Like, I don't know how many times I can say, like, I had a really, really good time, but I had a really, really good time.